10, Sada Baby versus 4-2 Dugg. 55 S.M.B. Bloods versus 4-2 the Hustle Boys. This is the beef that was inherited, that many members lost their life and paved the way for these artists to get the love that they do. This beef was always about neighborhood. 6 Mile versus 7 Mile. These rappers are from these communities. 4-2 Dugg is from 6 Mile. Some people say it's Crips. Sada Baby is from 7 Mile. Not to be confused, this neighborhood is definitely full of Bloods, S.M.B, also known as the Red Zone. So first we're going to talk about 4-2. First their name was the Hustle Boys. Then they changed to 4-2. Members like 4-2 Twin, 4-2 Apple, Neff, R.I.P. to Neff, and the one we know, 4-2 Dugg. 4-2 Dugg is an artist from Detroit that has gained multi-platinum records and has gained much success. He raps with the Four Pockets Full Collective with Little Baby, also known as CBFL. He's also one of Yo Gotti's artists under the CMG Collective. 4-2 Dugg has been a part of 4-2 since he was a teen. At 14, he went to prison for a pistol case where he got 4 years. Then he ended up getting another 2 years added on for assault that he did on another inmate. His crew started off as the Hustle Boys. Then they changed their name to 4-2. 4-2 Hustle Boys had also alliances with other teams like Max Out 220, 6 Mile Cheddar Grove, and 6 Mile Cheddar Ave. Now, if you know one thing, 6 Mile Cheddar Grove is also the group where the rapper Peasy is from. 6 Mile Cheddar Grove gang had 11 members indicted on an 18-count indictment by the feds in 2016, I believe. Some of the 4-2 affiliates was involved in this indictment, like Ed Boy, Peasy, and Ugg. They was charged with a slew of charges like racketeering, MURDER, dog possession, assault, and weapons charges. They was also alleged to have links to drug sales in Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, West V, and other states, in the South. They was taking dog, girl, boy, opioids, lean, you name it. They was doing it. They also formed a small alliance with the Hustle Boys, Cheddar Ave, and Gutter Hog. And they formed this alliance to fight the bigger gang, which was their rivals, S.M.B, 7 Mile Bloods. Now, the 7 Mile Bloods, this is a rival between hoods. They had this 7 Mile Bloods is a gang that runs from east to west. Now, not all 7 Mile Bloods is necessarily 55. 55 is a group that started off as another group first. Then they changed their name. They started off as, it's on the tip of my tongue, sorry about that, Hob Squad. Hob Squad was a member that was ended up locked up. He was one of their crew members that ended up getting locked up for a murder. It was actually a Arab. So a lot of these guys went to school together. This beef had been going on over a decade. This is definitely one of the largest and the long-lasting gang beefs in Detroit, Michigan. The 7 Mile Bloods is one of the largest gangs since the Purple Gang in the 1920s and 30s in Detroit, Michigan. All of the members mostly are from the east side, when you talk about Hob Squad and 55. But S.M.B got members from 7 Mile Road that runs all the way from the east side to the west side. So you got 7 Mile Bloods on the east side, you got 7 Mile Bloods on the west side. But the neighborhood on the Detroit east side is full of Bloods. They call it 55, and that is the red zone. They also changed their zip code to 4820 Die because their zip code is actually 4820 05. You know what I'm saying? So they changed it to 482 Die. They had a big rap thing going on where a lot of their members uh, was from a rap collective called Hard Work. Hard Work Entertainment. This was Hard Work Sunny, Hard Work Jig. They had a big, and it was funny when it first came out. They was actually working with Team Eastside. Well, Peasy was working with Jig, because Hard Work Jig is actually Iceware's Vezo family, and this is also Sada Baby's family. That's why they always say that Sada Baby and Iceware Vezo was cousins. Well, they were saying the same thing when these two rappers was out. This was before Sada Baby's time, but the two big rappers was Hard Work Jig and Iceware Vezo. And it was the same blood Crip thing then. We all know Iceware Vezo is known to be a Crip. And Hard Work Jig, back then, he was the blood. You know what I'm saying? So when they had beef, since way back then they had beef. This beef have been going on for a long time. Like, it's been going on for a while. Everybody know about the run-ins that these two had. I'm sure you done heard about the 4-2 versus 55, the run-in at the parole office where Twin was shot and Neff was killed. Okay, this was a situation that was a major factor in this 4-2 versus 55 war that eventually turned things up and made things get real violent after, and it was a bloody war ever since then. This war got so out of hand that the two groups actually made a public hit list that named the rival members and a cash bounty amount that would be paid for these guys' demise. 4-2 Twin was shot at the parole office. Him and his friend was sitting in the passenger seat. The friend was killed. And 4-2 Twin was actually locked up when he refused to testify and point out the 55 member who shot him in court. The victims and friends was back then 4-2 Dugg's friend, 4-2 Twin. The alleged shooter was the affiliate of Sada Baby. You know what I'm saying? The alleged shooter was friends with Hard Work Jig, and that's all of their same crew. The alleged shooter of the person that shot 4-2 Twin is a member of S.M.B. S.M.B. Bloods. So 4-2 Dugg can have little problems with Sada due to that type of affiliation. Yeah, your people that you used to run with, or that your cousin, Hard Work Jig, Boyz, was the actual people that killed my boy, Neff. Your cousin is responsible for the death of my friend. Your gang is responsible for shooting the guy that brought me out and helped me gain my success. Because everybody knows that 4-2 Twin is really responsible for 4-2 Dugg's success. He was like his manager. He was that CEO. He was that Yo Gotti before Yo Gotti came and got 4-2 Twin. Excuse me. He was that Yo Gotti before Yo Gotti came and got 4-2 Dugg, which was 4-2 Twin. He was the one making them investments. He was Little Baby before Little Baby came and got 4-2 Dugg, which was 4-2 Twin. 4-2 Twin is the ones that kept that Hustle Boy 4-2 name on his back. Before he started rapping, Peasy was shouting him out in all his songs. You know what I'm saying? Apple got life for some stuff he ain't did. Apple just got home. He done beat a murder. He didn't beat a murder, but he was locked up for a murder. Allegedly, he did not do. He's back. Mr. Beat the Odds. Check him out. And in his interview, he did an interview with the Foreign magazine. And in that interview, he talked about how this rivalry been going on for so long, and how they putting the end to it. How these guys are eventually about to sit down. They doing a peace walk. They doing a put the guns down, pick up the paintballs. You know what I'm saying? They trying to put this 20-year rivalry to an end. Because like they said, a lot of this stuff was immature, and a lot of this stuff happened over silly things. Even though blood was spilled on both sides, 4-2 Apple said in this interview with the Foreign magazine that it actually all started over a female. Yeah, over a female. So I know you guys like to go crazy in the comments. I know y'all do. And if Motor City Mag would have got on here and said this beef actually started over a female, y'all would tell me that ain't true. You guys probably could tell Apple, the guy who started Hustle Boys, that it ain't true. It didn't start over a female. But so you guys be a little cool in the comments, you know what I'm saying? Remember, a lot of this is content that ain't nobody else starting. You know what I'm saying? So before y'all hop in the comments and go off on me, I'm just relaying what somebody else said in an interview that dropped a week ago. You know, if you feel that you know these situations better, reach out to us. We'll let you tell the story. Or you go on there, make you a YouTube channel and you tell the story. I'll support you. I'll like, comment, and subscribe. I'll do anything but hop in your comments, write negative comments. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys, y'all age, we be talking about stuff that's from 20 years ago, and y'all talking about it like it was 20 days ago. But back to the story. 4-2 versus 55. It all started over a female, T-Man and B-Man. Of course, things got worse. Blood got spilled. And after that, it just got real out of hand. But this was actually one of the longest, the largest, and the longest lasting beefs in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Like all around Detroit, it's kind of the same as it is on the east side. That little 6 Mile versus 7 Mile. 7 Mile don't like 8 Mile. Like a lot of these things are a mile away. So a lot of these guys went to high school together, and these wars be coming from high school. Hey, you in that area, man, you from that block. You know what I mean? Like I said, even on in our area, all the way down on West 6 Mile. You got guys from West 6 Mile don't want to go to Grand River. That's another mile up south. You know what I'm saying? West 6 Mile, Brightmoor. And that's where you got YNS was from. And a lot of the YNS members didn't get along with guys that was from West 7 Mile. So, this same thing goes on all around the city of Detroit. We like to claim hoods and claim little crews. But gang this gang war was one of the longest lasting wars in the city. It got very bloody with Block being killed. Some people would say that Block was the leader at one point in time. You know, then the feds would allege that Hard Work Sonny was the leader. They go back and forth. Then they end up alleging that B Man was the leader. They like to say a lot of people was a leader. I know Block did get a lot of respect for the work that he put in, but I know also that B Man did put in a whole lot of work. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But all these guys end up getting locked up. Yeah. Most of all these members right now, you know what I'm saying, they're sitting down. They didn't beat that Rico like Twin, and the only one of those guys that was able to beat the Rico was 55 Smoke. Shout out to him. He got his own clothing line out called Push, and he is the one who was influential in sitting down with 4-2 Apple to squash this beef. So shout out to both of those guys. 4-2 Apple, Mr. Did It, Do It Big, or Mr. Sorry, I said his name earlier. He got his own paralegal service where he helping guys, you know what I'm saying, that was wrongfully convicted, get these things overturned. Mr. Beat the Odds, and y'all go check him out. The same thing with 55 Smoke. You know what I'm saying? He on this positive thing, throwing events, giving back. He got his nonprofit, he got his clothing line, Push coming out. Hard Work Jig is currently locked up. Michael Rogers, he's out. He beat it. Quincy, I think Quincy's out. You know what I'm saying? Most of these guys, you know what I'm saying, is locked up, streaming from big federal charges. You know what I'm saying? Big indictments. You know what I'm saying? I'm unsure what Jig charges was, but he was charged in that hard work, in that 55 indictment. You know what I mean? That's Sada's cousin. The Fed set down Corey Bailey, Sonny. You know what I'm saying? The Fed set down Billy Arnold, B Man. Tried to say both of them was leaders. You know what I mean? But the people in the streets had a lot of respect for Block. And after Block demise, that was a lot of them guys went crazy, man. A lot of them guys went crazy as far as trying to spill that blood. And the same thing on 4-2 end, when they lost Neff. You know what I mean? So I'm glad to see that these guys can overcome this, man. And but just to tie it in with these rappers, do y'all ever see Sada Baby and 4-2 Dugg squashing they end of it? No, I don't think so. The ones Out of these two groups, which one do you think was more vicious? Which one you think that was getting more money? You know, most of the city, I don't know if y'all know this, out of towners, but most of the city go say that the ones that was getting more money was 4-2. You know what I'm saying? Just alone was Hustle Boys. They're gonna say the bigger group was S.M.B. That's why it took for Hustle Boys to link up with two or three other gangs just to go against S.M.B. because S.M.B. was the larger crew. You know what I'm saying? And that started to be around maybe 2010, things would change. But if y'all don't know, because Detroit ain't really before 2010, like the 2000s, it was not a big gang culture. So back then, 2000, when these guys was in high school, the bigger group was actually Hustle Boys, because Detroit is a land of the hustlers. Everybody, you ain't got to be from 6 Mile to call yourself a hustle boy. Mostly everybody from Detroit is a hustler. Detroit, that's what all we known for is hustle this, hustle that. So it was easier for, oh, hustle boy, yeah, shit. People from 7 Mile wanted to be a hustle boy. From 8 Mile wanted to be a hustle boy. People from the West Side wanted to be a hustle boy. We was all hustle boys at heart in the beginning. So hustle boys started off a couple hundred deep. But what happens as time go by, the gang culture starts to blow up a little bit with your Gucci Manes, Waka Flockas. As the blood set got bigger, and now everybody wants to be a blood. Detroit starts to have your Pyrus, 80 Deuce. Detroit always had GDs, you know what I'm saying? Bloods, Crips, folks up, folks down. Folks up was for the blue, folks down for the blood. That was always there. But it was not like where one whole neighborhood is about to be full of bloods. So at one point in time, the Hustle Boys was bigger. But as the gang culture got bigger, you know what I'm saying? The Hustle Boys, people started getting locked up for them OT runs. Hustle Boys was getting that money first. You know what I'm saying? Hustle Boys saying they invented stuffing. And we ain't gonna say they invented stuffing because people been going out of town before this whole generation. You know what I'm saying? My parents, you know what I'm saying, raised in the 90s, they been going out of town. You know what I'm saying? Telling us stories about when they used to go to Kalamazoo. So Detroit people, we know, always been about going down south, going to Pontiac, going to Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Going to the Carolinas. People been doing this all over. New York people love to do it. Guys from Philly love to do it. So the OT run, we're not gonna say straight up that 4-2 started it, but out of that crew, these guys was the ones that had the means to be able to do it first. You know what I'm saying? These guys was the ones that had the opioids and was able to do it first, the connections, and was able to do it first. But even after that, years later, around 2010, 2011, when these guys, S.M.B., 7 Mile Bloods, on a federal indictment, it said 7 Mile Bloods, you know what I'm saying, was going down to Virginia, bringing in 80K a week. So you do the math on that. 80K a week that S.M.B. doing, and they saying that they started doing after 4-2, after the Hustle Boys. So 80K a week, what's that? 10K a day minimum. You know what I'm saying? 10K a day on a bad day. You know what I'm saying? 80K a week. If S.M.B. was able to get those type of numbers, what you think the Hustle Boys was doing? That's why Hustle Boys end up the ones that was getting it more. And Hustle Boys, a couple of them got indicted for what, 2, 3? But a lot of them was still out there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them got little slaps on the wrist. They ain't getting no 20 years, you know what I'm saying? No life sentence. A lot of them did time, came home. You know what I mean? A lot of them still out to this day. So that's why people will tell you that 4-2, you know what I mean, seem to be getting the money, was getting more money. As you can see, 4-2 Twin, he living like a rapper, and he ain't, I don't even know if he ever got a rap check. But he's shining just like 4-2 Dugg is. You know what I'm saying? S.M.B. didn't have a lot of members that was doing that. But I'm not going to lie. Quincy and Dugg, you know what I'm saying, of 55, them boys used to go crazy in the clubs too. And I always used to wonder why they never used to go crazy at the S.M.B shows, hard work jig shows, because them boys used to go to the titty bar and throw 10, 20,000. Quincy, yeah, he was going crazy with that bread around that time when they was having a run. It was obvious that they was eating. It was them boys was throwing money. S.M.B, and this wasn't the rappers though. This wasn't hard work entertainment. This wasn't hard work jig, hard work Sunny. I used to always wonder why that Quincy ain't putting his money behind them, because these was totally just they gang members. You know what I'm saying? They was throwing parties around that time, and they would throw parties, and they was known to go into these clubs with these strippers and S.M.B. You know what I'm saying? 55 Dugg and 55 Quincy. You know what I'm saying? Maybe sometimes Smoke, but it was really Dugg and Quincy was going in there throwing loafs. They used to go crazy in the clubs. You know what I'm saying? They actually had a club, a show, one of them nights that the guy B Man got caught up. You know what I'm saying? B Man was going down to their show. They used to always have shows at titty bars on the west side. You know what I'm saying? Not really shows, but these was more like cabaret, just straight up parties. And these men was in there throwing money like they hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? So they had their time too. You know what I mean? There wasn't no shortage on that end. But that was maybe 2 or 3 members out of dozens. S&B had dozens of members at that time, and the rest of them wasn't known for that. You know what I'm saying? Block wasn't known for showing no money. He wasn't known for showing no jewelry, and not being negative, but you know what I'm saying? He wasn't known for being fresh. He wasn't known for being fly. These guys was a little on the grimy side, if anything. You know what I'm saying? Hair nappy, barely had a fucking hair and barely groomed. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's not for hard work jig, and that's not for Sunny. But if you listen to their music, wealth and prosperity and getting money wasn't really the topic. It was more about drill, catching up with the ops, getting the enemies, Blood Gang, 55, Blood Rules, S.M.B, S.M.O. You know, they music was not like Sada music now. You know, the lane they was in back then was way different than how Sada Baby is rapping now. Sada Baby has gained success, and he has put another spin to that 55 wave. You know, but would Sada Baby have the success that he has without that S&B stamp? I don't think so. I think people give him a certain amount of respect. They automatically assume that, okay, oh, he's official because he has ties to them, and nobody in S&B has came out and said, he's not official, because all the official members are locked up. So it's really no one to get out there and say he's not an official member. You know, he done had small little disagreements with a lot of Red Zone members where they say, hey, you wasn't in the field. You wasn't there. Stop trying to claim it because you wasn't there. Now, plenty of S.M.B members have said that. And Sada has said it himself. Hey, he joined the gang around, I think, 23 or 24. So if he was 23, 24, you know, he definitely wasn't in the field when these guys was, when all this war was going on, you know. With 42 Dugg, they saying he been doing this thing since he was little. You know what I mean? He is a certified member of 42. You know what I mean? Since he was young, shooting dice. Older cousins trying to take his money, you know what I'm saying? Bringing home thousands back then. You know, but the reason I said I don't think that they ever will squash that beef is because this stuff has got way too big. Both of these guys are too influential. And unless they're just gonna meet up together and just try to actually guide the youth and say, let's squash this. But a lot of them are still young. You know, these guys, I don't even know if they have hit 30 yet. So they haven't hit the age of maturity. Right now is not the time, and I don't see it in the next 5 years. Now, maybe 10 years later, when they're in their mid 30s, maybe okay. But as of right now, they have too much influence. Every rapper, these young guys, every new rapper in the city has picked their side. Either they dropping fours or they dropping fives. Basically, they dropping fours, saying they don't deal with 4-2 and they deal with 55, or they dropping fives, saying they don't deal with 55 and they deal with 4-2. The whole Detroit, Michigan has to pick a side when it comes to that. That's how T Grizzley and Sada Baby end up having the problems that they had. Because when Jovina, uh, when T Grizzly's auntie slash manager just wanted to make the label nice and grab one of the hottest artists in the city, she went for Sada Baby, not really knowing the backup beef that Sada Baby had with 4-2 Twin, a member that T Grizzley had worked with, a rapper that was one of the first rappers to get a feature from T Grizzley when he was saying, I want 10K a feature. And they worked together doing their song Secrecy, and it was a hit. These guys was really cool, 4-2 Twin and T Grizzley. And after that, T Grizzley goes to sign Sada Baby, and 4-2 Twin looked so destructive on there, like the man had tears in his eyes. Like he was ready to push the button and put a nuke on the whole damn Joy Road. If he could have pushed the button and dropped a nuclear missile on Joy Road, he would have pushed it and dropped it at that time. But I get what he's saying. You just want to sign the man that's cousins with the guys that killed my boy. You just signed a man that's cousins with the guys that shot my brother. The reason why my brother is still incarcerated to this day. They told that man, 4-2 Twin, point out who shot you. He said the person that I don't see him in court, and they locked him up. You know, I know a lot of y'all wouldn't have did that. I know if it was me and they said point him out, before I sit in the feds for 5-10 years, I ain't gonna lie, I probably would have had to throw the elbow up like, yeah, that's him over there in all red. You know what I'm saying? For real, you know. And that shows, you know what I'm saying, 4-2 Twin, they some stand-up guys, man. He definitely a stand-up guy. Because a lot of y'all are telling your friend, ain't no way in hell you go sit in the feds for not pointing out your enemy. So that goes to show that he straight up wanted to handle it in the streets. He wanted to leave it in the streets. He didn't want one bad rep, one bad allegation on his name. You know what I'm saying? He want his street reputation to be flawless. And that's good. You know what I'm saying? 4-2 is some stand-up men. You know what I'm saying? You ain't hearing about no 4-2 ratting. The ones you did hear about ratting, they exposed them. You know what I'm saying? They put that out there. You know what I mean? 4-2 Apple overturned, you know what I'm saying, had life. And ended up getting that overturned and back out. You know what I'm saying? These guys got some serious law problems. You know what I'm saying? These guys is really tied into this. You know what I mean? They blood in, blood out. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no facade. This ain't no fake war. This is a serious war. You know what I'm saying? In Detroit. So if they don't have no sit down, or if they don't continue to do what they doing, more peace rallies, more walks. Shout out to him for doing that. Because the members that was really lived that, they getting older. They see what it is. These guys are sitting in prison doing life behind